Well, a new poll now showing Vice President Kamala Harris is the favorite among Democrat voters to replace Joe Biden amid growing calls for him to step aside. But who is the real Kamala Harris? And should Americans be worried if she was eventually named the party's nominee? Here with her insight, Washington Examiner editor Kaylee McGhee White. Kaylee, thanks for being here. That is a key question. I was just thinking about it. I mean, I know she's a prosecutor who was a senator and then chosen to be vice president, but people don't know that much about her. What would that mean?
Right. Well, let's just say there's a reason the Bernie bros are suddenly screaming Mamala from the rooftops. And it's because she's much more open to the radical left's policies than even Joe Biden is. Let's just take the Israel conflict, for example. She was one of the first people in the Biden administration to suggest that there needed to be a permanent ceasefire and to sort of break with Israeli officials on their military campaign. So she's already signaled that she's much more open to taking the left's directions than even Biden is. But the problem here, of course, is not just that her policies are radical. It's also that she's incompetent. She has performed horribly throughout her entire vice presidency. She sounds more like a self-help guru on a daily basis than an actual serious presidential contender. So if Democrats think that she's the solution, they're dead wrong.
Yeah, I don't think they do, which is why while that poll shows she might have some default support, it really doesn't feel like there's a grassroots enthusiasm clamoring for her. There's also a big reason why she might not have a shot at this, and that is the president's wife, Jill Biden. Here's the headline from the Daily Mail saying Jill Biden's grudge against Kamala Harris revealed. Power-hungry First Lady's grudge is so deep that the only thing worse than Joe stepping down is the VP replacing him. Kaylee, apparently Jill has not forgotten about that debate moment where Kamala went after Joe on segregation, effectively calling him a racist. So that might be a deal breaker right there.
She certainly seems to have a grudge against Kamala, but more than that, Jill Biden really likes being president right now. And she doesn't want to give up this power that she's attained through her own husband. And so what Jill and Joe Biden have essentially done here is instead of reassuring the Democratic Party leadership, Democratic voters, that he is fine and fit to serve another 4 years, they've essentially threatened mutually assured destruction. And what Jill Biden and Joe Biden have communicated is that if Democrats try to yank Joe Biden out now, they will sink every single chance that the Democrats have of winning the White House in November. I don't know how that's a great strategy, but it seems to be working out real well for Jill Biden.
Well, they say, yeah, you see the rally in Michigan they held last night, tightly scripted, tightly choreographed, high on crowd enthusiasm, and they feel like it's a demonstration of why he's the most formidable nominee to take on Donald Trump. Where do you think this goes? Everyone's got their thoughts. Do you think he stays? Do you think he goes?
I think he stays in because Joe Biden is stubborn and selfish and always has been. Jill Biden likes the power, and they don't have a great alternative. We know that Kamala is not a great option, and there's no other candidate who could step in and easily fill that role and serve as a sort of unity candidate. Gavin Newsom might be the only one with the money, the name recognition to do it, but he can't win a general election. Michigan Governor Gretchen Whitmer just doesn't have the national name recognition to step into the race so late. So they don't have great options at this point. I think he stays.
You're right. He's stubborn and selfish. He's played this everyday guy who's for the people. But in reality, now that he's got power, he and Jill will not relinquish it easily, as you can tell. Kaylee McGhee White, thank you for your time. Great stuff.
Thank you.
I'm Steve Doocy.
I'm Brian Kilmeade.
And I'm Ainsley Earhart. And click here to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page to catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis.